I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I just want to say kudos for sticking with this, for being strong enough and brave enough and tough enough to continue with your homeschooling and staying motivated. And you are more than halfway there. School ends, in just a couple months. You'll be on summer break, and I just hope that it'll be a new time for you. How do you stay motivated? And how do you cope? How have you been coping?
Well, when I'm bored and I don't have anything to do, like talk to my friends or anything, I would usually call Eviana on my home phone and play Roblox with her.
Okay. Call your family member, and that's how you get through some rough days?
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, when I'm bored, sometimes I just feel like making imaginary friends that I just talk to. Because I feel like sometimes when I want to talk to Destin, it's usually in the middle of class. So that's why I make myself imaginary friends, so that I could talk to them anytime I really want to.
You guys might be all remote. You might all be on different schedules, right? At home. And I know for you, Aviana, you're on a pretty strict schedule. I believe that your school kept the same schedule like you were when you were in class. So everything is timed right from the beginning to the end of the day. While Destin might have some free time in between his day, and so he might try to call you during the free time, but you're not available.
Well, the way I've been coping is by uploading videos and content to my YouTube channel. Now, see, I wouldn't recommend this to everybody, just going out and making some media based, because sometimes that could be overwhelming. But for me, that's been something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So just sitting down after school one day and knowing that I could do anything on my YouTube channel, maybe one day upload one certain type of video with video games, and another day do an art video. It's just the type of thing that brought me a lot of life during my days.
So you got into YouTube. That's helped you. You also play video games, right?
Yeah.
Has that helped you cope some, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. I know this has been hard, not only for the students, but for the parents as well, I'm sure. So what advice would you give parents who are doing remote learning with you? Based on the experience you're having, what would you do? What would you tell your parents? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? What would you tell your parents?
Something that I feel like parents should know when teaching an online student is just like every once in a while checking on them, make sure they're doing okay, make sure everything's in check with them, make sure they're talking to their friends, because you may not know it and your son or your daughter isn't going through the best things, and maybe her best friend stopped talking to her and she's just trying to hide it all along. So I feel like something that you should do is try to stay active, because I feel like something that may change the way that somebody thinks and even make them think in a way that they may take their own life is making sure that you do something. Like, I'm not saying like every single day you have to go do something crazy, like go on like a Ferris wheel or something like that. I'm just saying, like, make sure you do something every once in a while, so it feels kind of like you're still doing eventful stuff during the day. Because sometimes I felt like it was just boring because we weren't really doing anything. I was just staying in the house all day. So I would recommend sometimes even just driving in your car, going nowhere, and just talking and laughing, having your own fun could be something that could bring life into everybody in your family.
Okay. So try to change up the momentum in the home and do things a little differently sometimes. I like the idea you brought out, because we do that sometimes, just get in the car and take a drive, because sometimes you're just sitting in the house for so long And I know some people live in warmer climates than others, and we live in the northern states. And so for a couple months there, it was so cold that you couldn't just say, okay, let's go for a walk outside. So taking a ride in the car would probably, substitute for taking a walk. It just gets you out of the house, so you're not seeing the same thing, doing the same thing every day.
Well, if someone's kid is ever struggling in class, you should always make sure you check on them. Like a daily, like what Matt said, you should check on them every once in a while. If you see that they're struggling, maybe you should make sure they're happy. Like with my family, if we're all bored, we're not doing anything in the house, we all do these family walks because we have an ice cream shop near our house. So we walk there. When we walk there, we bond, we get along with each other, we laugh and play. But when we're at home, my parents work all the time. My brother goes into school now, and I'm mostly upstairs in my bedroom doing work.
So for you, taking those special time to spend time together as a family, for you, like that evening walk is something that helps you to unwind from your day and not think about school or not having your friends around or just the stress that the pandemic has caused, right? And then maybe a time for your parents to say, so Aviana, how are you doing in school today, right? Is everything okay? Just to catch up and check in with you to see how you're doing. I think that's a very important point because sometimes, parents are so busy dealing with the pandemic themselves and working and they're stressed and they're worried about their health and their children's health, that sometimes we can forget to check in with you guys and say, how are you doing? How are you coping? How can I help you? Right? How about you, Dustin?
Finds out that their kid is struggling in a type of class like ELA or science, maybe they should reach out to them or their teacher to help break it down to them in different ways so they can understand.
Yeah, that's a good idea, to reach out to the teacher to see if there's any extra help that they could give you, resource that they could give you so that you can, better, grasp the information or get the information, right? So do you guys feel like you can be open and honest with your parents and let them know if you're really struggling right now or if you have been struggling? How about you, Matthew?
Well, I feel like sometimes you don't really want to be honest, but I feel like in general you should always be honest with your parents or your family or whoever is staying there with you during this rough time. And even though sometimes you may not tell your parents that you're not talking to your best friend for a little while, I feel like you should even tell them those little things so they know how to help you and they know like things what not to say. So I feel like you should be open, and I feel like I've been open with my parents, with you, and yeah.
How about you, Aviana?
Well, I don't really open up to my parents as much. If I'm struggling with work that I have, I would try and get it through. I try and get through it myself without asking for any help. I've done that for a few days or just a few times, you could say. Because both of my parents are working, and I feel like if I ever interrupt them, they might tell me that, no, we're working, I have to go back to work. This is very important, so I don't want to interrupt what they're doing. So I try to do it myself.
But do you feel like your parents are there for you? You just don't feel comfortable sharing what might be going on with them, right? How about you, Destin?
Yeah, when my dad, well, my mom is working, would usually be working right over here in her work area over there, and would be able to ask my mom for help. But if she's real busy, then I would be able to ask my dad. But if my dad's not here, then I would be able to ask my sister.
Okay, so you do have people that you can ask for help if you feel like you need it.
Yes.
How has your mood been?
Well, it's been happy ever since this pandemic started. Because I didn't have much time to be at school and I get to spend more time with my family. But now that the school period is happening, I don't get to spend a lot of time because I have school. But my parents got work. My sister has to do her 11th year in high school.
Okay, so you would describe your mood as mostly happy during this pandemic and being home?
Yes, but also sad.
Sad? Why sad?
Because I have very little time to spend time with my family because it's mainly like after school. But the only times I get to spend time with them during school is either with recess or lunch.
Okay. Because they're working too from home, right? Yeah, that's difficult.
Oh, not my dad.
Challenge. That is definitely a challenge. Because even though parents are home and they're there to help you with school, a lot of parents have to be working while you're in school. And so it's hard to multitask and be there for you while doing their job effectively, and efficiently.
Well, my mood during this pandemic has changed a little bit because I used to be a lot more active, wanting to go outside, and nowadays, some days I don't really feel like it anymore. So I feel like doing this whole YouTube thing brought a lot more life into me because every single day used to just feel like the whole same thing, and I wasn't necessarily depressed. I just feel like I wasn't myself as many days as I was myself. I just felt like some days I was just a blob of what used to be me.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I think a lot of people's mood has changed and fluctuated throughout this pandemic.
Well, my mood has been since the pandemic. I got more tired because before I used to get a full night of sleep, but now suddenly I just wake up in the middle of the night and just sit there staring. I don't know what I'm staring at, but I'm just staring because I have nothing else to do. When I try to lay down to go back to sleep, I don't go back to sleep.
Okay.
So I don't really know what I'm doing at night. So I just stay up until morning. And once morning hits, I just log on to class, eat breakfast, and go back to school.
So you haven't been getting good sleep, good rest at night? When you wake up, do you find yourself worried about things or thinking about things that have to do with school or thinking about your friends? Is there anything particularly that you're thinking about when you wake up? No, you just can't go back to sleep. Yeah. So, what advice would you give to a friend, another student who's struggling like you?
Well, if they are struggling, I would tell them to like take a little break off. If they're struggling, to take a couple deep breaths and try to understand what they're doing. But if they're not able to, then maybe they should ask an adult, their siblings, or a guardian for help.
That's good advice, Dustin. That's very good advice.
I feel like the only advice that I would give to another student or anybody in general that's going through a rough time in this pandemic is honestly just to make it through and just keep positive every single day of your life, because it seems difficult right now, but it wasn't like this all the time, and it won't always be like this.
Well, for me, if my friend was ever in pain or you could say struggling with school, I would try to help them, because I don't want my friends to struggle. I want to make sure they're doing well in class, because I check on most of my class.
Okay. So you try to help someone by, helping them with the need that they may have. Say it's a technology issue, you try to help them out that way. But if they were struggling, they just feel like, I'm failing at this thing, I hate this homeschooling, I don't feel good, I'm sad. How would you help them?
I would try to comfort them and say that it will all be okay, because we're all gonna get through one day. We're all gonna go back to class and meet each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen someday.
And probably someday soon, because as you guys know, that with the vaccine rollout now and most people getting vaccinated, the plan is to reopen school, and we only have a couple months left. But how excited would you be about that? I know you, Destin, you've gone back a little bit. I know you're on quarantine now, but how excited would that make you feel?
Well, if I went there for like a long time, then I would be happy to make new friends and more friends that I actually already had. Because there's some people in my class, like the new student in the other class, James, who I seen when I was playing on the other side of the playground. I seen he didn't have anyone to talk to or play with. He was just roaming on the playground by himself. So I was wondering if he was okay or if he had any friends.
Okay, so you would be excited for school to reopen so you can meet new friends, right?
Yes.
How about you, Matthew? If you had the opportunity to go back to school, how excited would that make you?
I mean, that would make me really excited, because at the beginning of the school year, I got to meet a lot of new people that I didn't know from my previous years, and I feel like it would be really nice to see what they look like in person and get to know them better. And I also feel like a lot of other people will be happy, just because, it would be a lot better to be around everybody else.
Well, since I got used to using the computer more in class, I don't feel like reuniting with anyone in school.
But would you be excited to see your friends, those two friends that you usually hang out with?
Yeah, I would love to meet my friends again, find out about their life and about how things are going at home.
Yes. And we're going to be wrapping up here, but one last question. Do you feel like your school has done enough for you to help, you cope during this pandemic?
Well, yeah, they put our desks like 6 feet apart, and every time we have to talk, we have to have our mask on, especially during like snack and lunch. And we're able to talk to the people next to us or people that's far away from us, but we can't be yelling if we have our mask off. And if we're sick, they would send us home, because they want to make sure that none of the students get sick too.
Okay. How about you, Aviana? Have your teachers of your school done any interaction online that may have helped you to meet new friends or engage with other classmates?
Well, my school is like the best school because they anytime when when you feel sick or you're not in your best mood, the teachers try to comfort you. The school will running announcements. You get to hear the roll of birthdays, and if someone in your class has a birthday, the teachers and the rest of the class will all sing happy birthday to that one student.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice way to put a special touch on things.
Well, I feel like something that some of my teachers did to engage the students is a line of students called rural professors, and their students that were doing all their work, finishing everything up, and showing the teachers that they were really good students. And then sometimes if a student was having troubles with something easy, like joining a meeting, then they would say, "Oh, Matthew, since you're a rural professor, go and help," and then show them how to join a call or send a message or add somebody to a chat. And I feel like that's kind of engaging because it could be a completely different student, and you guys could get to know each other and become best friends just because you're helping them.
Yes, I know some students have said that their school has played Among Us games together in small groups. Some school has had movie nights. I just heard of a teacher that reads bedtime stories to her students every night. And I just think that the more engagement you can have students doing together in small groups or doing things outside of learning, that might encourage them to talk to each other and maybe exchange numbers so that they can continue to be friends outside of the classroom. I think you guys have shared some good, insight on how this pandemic has affected you. And I'm sure you're not alone. I want you to know you're not alone. Millions of kids across the United States and the whole world have been impacted just like you. And some of them, have adjusted well and others have not. And it's just been a very hard thing for children, for parents, for everyone to deal with. This took us all by surprise. And what I want to let you know is that it's not going to last forever. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Things are changing, and fingers crossed, I am predicting that you guys will be back to school next school year. Hopefully, with this vaccine rollout, that you guys will get to go back in class and get back to life, as normal or as the new normal, as people would say. And so once again, thank you guys for joining me, and I wish you guys all the best for the rest of this semester, and stay safe and stay encouraged.
And real quick, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Go subscribe to my channel, Reaper Sushi, ? I would very much appreciate it.
I'll make sure to link that so that people could subscribe to your channel. It's really changed his whole mindset. And so sometimes you have to create new realities, like Aviana said, she makes up imaginary friends, but sometimes you can try to find new hobbies that can take up some of your time and engage you in other ways that can help to motivate you and help you cope. So for Matthew, he took up YouTube, and he likes video games and he talks about them. And so, try to think of something you could do that you enjoy. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's drawing, and just, put some of your time and your energy when you feel bored into doing that. And you probably will find that it helps to uplift your spirit. And the other thing I want to encourage you to do is to definitely reach out to your parents and let them know when you're struggling. Let them know when you're feeling sad, mad, angry. When you're not feeling like yourself, I want you to reach out to your parents and let them know. Because I know they care and love you very much, and they want the best for you. So don't feel like you don't have support. Okay? And once again, like I said, I am so proud of you guys sticking with school and doing the best you can. This has been a rough time for everyone, and it is almost, over. And hopefully as the weather change for us who live in the northern states and summer comes, that sunshine will also bring new hopes to our life and bring us back to some form of normalcy. So all the best for the rest of your school year, and thank you again so much for joining me and sharing your COVID-19 experience with me. So take care.
All right, bye.
Also subscribe to Reaper's Sushi.
Imagine he's hugging for you. You got some subscribers.